Hello everyone, this is Mara the Reading Hedgehog with my April 2017 book haul. So in total I hauled 15 books in April. Those are the ones that I bought. I also got a lot of books for my birthday, but I did a separate video of those which I will link down below so you can see those. So if you include those, I got a lot more books than that, but I'm just going to show you the ones that I bought and we will jump straight into this. So the first ones I'm going to show you are new releases as usual, and I think a couple of these are actually March releases that I didn't buy until April. But so yeah. So the first one I have is Blood Rose Rebellion by Rosalind Eves. This is the first book in a new fantasy, historical fantasy trilogy. This came out March 28th. And from what I recall, it's essentially about a girl living in London, I believe it is, somewhere in England, who has no magic in a society of people who do have magic, and she's sent to Hungary, and her non-magicness ends up becoming kind of a big thing, I guess. It sounded really interesting, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten it. So really looking forward to seeing, kind of where it goes, and hopefully it'll be pretty original and all that. So after that, I also bought Letters to the Lost by Bridget Camure. This came out April 4, and this is a contemporary about a girl whose mother has died, and so in order to cope with it, she writes letters to her dead mother, but then someone starts writing back. This kind of reminded me of Love Letters to the Dead, which I actually really did enjoy. And so yeah, I picked it up because I really enjoyed that one, and this one sounded pretty interesting, and I'm kind of a sucker for unique narration styles, so yes, I bought it. After that, I bought Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. It came out April 11th, and this is the first book in a planned, I believe it's a duology. And it's, from what I remember, about a girl whose destiny is to be sacrificed to the sea so her kingdom does not get destroyed, but first she has to produce an heir, but unfortunately she, doesn't, the touch of humans repulses her except for these specific humans. The synopsis I read for it sounded very good, but its official synopsis, once I bought it, this book is either going to be pretty good or really bad, and I'm hoping it's not going to be really bad, but we'll see. So yeah, we'll see. Crossing fingers, is not a bad one. After that, I bought The Freemasons Daughter by Shelley Sakir. This also came out April 11th, and this is a historical fiction. I think it's pretty much straight up historical fiction. No magic or anything like that, and it's about a girl who's the daughter of a Freemason, and in Scotland, and yeah, that's all I remember, and I was just, quite honestly, I just bought it because it was straight up historical fiction. It's pretty hard to find straight up historical fiction in YA nowadays. It's not published very often. There's usually some kind of fantasy spin on it, and I love historical fantasy, but sometimes it's really nice to just read historical fiction. So I bought this. So the next books I bought are all used, and they're either the beginnings of a new series or the continuation of a series that I am collecting. I made a trip up to Half Price Books with some friends, like one of their main stores that I'd never been to, and yeah, so I bought books. Go figure. So the first one I have is Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. This is the first book in the Something Strange and Deadly trilogy. I bought this on the recommendation of one of my friends that I went with, because she said that it was really steampunky and that she really liked it and I would really like it. And her and I tend to have fairly similar tastes. We vary. We veer off. But in general, she's one of the people that if she says I like something, I'm like, yeah, I probably will. So this actually I think has to do with zombies, more or less, but in a historical steampunk fantasy setting, and so I'm willing to give it a try. I remember when it came out and didn't pick it up because I was not doing zombies then, but, she said I like it, so we'll see. It looks interesting. Sounds interesting. After that, I picked up Rogue Wave and Dark Tide, Book 2 and 3 of the Waterfire Saga by Jennifer Donnelly. I think these are the last two. I don't know if it has any more after this. This is a mermaid trilogy series. I have the first book. I've had the first book for a couple years. I have not read it yet, but these were, you know, half price, more than half price, so I went and got them so I can binge the series, and so I have them, and yada yada. I don't really remember all that it's about, but, you know, I'm willing to try mermaid stories, because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Usually they're not, but this might be a series. After that, I picked up The Lord of Opium by Nancy Farmer. This is the second book in the Mateo Alcaran duology, which first book is House of the Scorpion. I've heard, and having read The House of the Scorpion, I agree it did not need a sequel, but I want to read the sequel because it might be good, and I haven't heard anything about the sequel at all, actually, so yeah, we'll see if it's good. I suspect my opinion's probably going to be it didn't need to be written, but we'll see. After that, I picked up Voyage of Slaves by Brian Jacques. I know it's pronounced Jakes. This is the third and final book in his Flying Dutchman trilogy, and this is actually the only one I haven't read. I read the other two, but for some reason I never actually got around to reading this one, but now I have it, and now I can reread the entire trilogy and relive my childhood, because I love doing that. After that, I picked up Deceptive by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is the second book in the Elusive trilogy. I don't know this for certain, but I think the third book was never released as a hard copy. I think it was only released as a ebook, and I hope that's not true. But I have the first book. I have not read it yet, but again, this was on sale, so I got it so I can read both of them when I decide to finally pick this series up, and I don't remember what it's about. I think it has something to kind of do with heists in teen criminals with special powers, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it sounded good at the time, so we'll see. After that, I picked up Off the Page by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Apparently this is a companion novel to Between the Lines, which I have not read and I do not own. I don't know if this is one that you can read without having read Between the Lines. If any of you have read this or have read Between the Lines, let me know. I like to read things in order, but if this is one that it's actually a companion novel, you do not have to read the first one to enjoy this. That would be nice, because I don't want to have to wait to read it until I've found a copy of Between the Lines. I don't want to. So if this is one I could read by itself, please let me know. But from what I remember of this is about characters that either get read out of their book or follows characters you realize that they are characters in the book. I don't remember which. But I love those kind of stories so much, so it sounded good, and yes, I picked it up. After that, I picked up Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the third book in her Wolves of Mercy Falls trilogy / chronicles, because there is a fourth one, but it's kind of a companion novel. This is the one Maggie Stiefvater series I have not read. And I've been kind of nervous picking it up, because one, it has to do with werewolves, and it's a romance. But to her very first series that she wrote, Lament, the fairy court one, I really hated it, and I'm kind of worried that this is going to follow the lines of, this is an author where her earlier works really weren't that good, and then they got really better, because I love the Scorpio Races, I love the Raven Cycle, so I'm nervous about this series, but I got almost all of them except for the fourth one, and I'm willing to give it a try, because if anyone can make a romance werewolf story good, it's probably Maggie Stiefvater. So, willing to give it a try. These next three and final books I have are standalones that are also used, not new releases, and none of them were on my list. I just picked them up because they sounded interesting and they were there. So the first one is Bound by Blood and Sand by Becky Allen, and I actually don't remember why I picked this one up. It must have sounded good, though, but I don't remember why. I don't remember if it's historical fiction, or dystopian, or post-apocalyptic. galactic or it's magical, apparently. I don't remember what it's about. So you guys can look up the synopsis, but clearly it sounded interesting, and I've never heard of it before. And I do love picking up those books that are not well known, because generally they actually tend to be pretty good. So yeah, really looking forward to picking up this one, finding out what it's about, because I don't remember. After that, I picked up The Door That Led to Where by Sally Gardner. Now this, I picked up because of the author. Sally Gardner is not well known, but her books are very interesting. I don't remember much about I, Coriander, but I loved it. But her French Revolution duology, that's a historical fantasy kind of / magic realism, loved it so much. She's got a very unique writing style. And if I remember correctly, this is about someone who travels through time, and solves murder crimes and things like that, traveling through time. And I haven't read Sally Gardner in so long, so I'm excited to read a semi-newish book by her. Yeah, very excited about that. And then finally we have Madigans Fantasia by Margaret Mayhe. This, I believe, is middle grade, and it's about a circus. And yes, it's about a circus and stuff. That's all I needed to know. I love stories about circuses, and middle grade stories about circuses are usually some of the best. So yes, I picked it up. Plus, it's pretty. It's so pretty. And what's it? Oh, it's boring underneath, but this is pretty. This is pretty. So we'll be happy with that. And I believe it's written by a British person. It is. It's actually been turned into a BBC TV series. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Huh, who knew? Yeah, I have to look that up. So those are all the books I got in April. Again, there were a bunch I got for my birthday as well, which I will leave that separate video linked down below. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books, questions, comments, I love hearing from you guys, and I will see you around. Bye.